Good afternoon. We are live right now, and I am super excited to be actually conducting my first interview that I am recording with my new awesome buddy, Meredith Shirk. And we're going to have some really deep, really fun conversations today for all of our listeners out there.
We are.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be fun. So I would take a seat, get ready to maybe even take some notes, listeners, because this is unlike any interview that I've ever done. And I am super excited to have Meredith Shirk, who is actually from California, and I'm here in Michigan. By the way, I am Dawn Sylvester of Final Fat Meltdown. And Meredith has a degree in biology, graduated magna cum laude with a personal training, fitness nutrition degree, and she's also a 3-time former All-American water polo player.
I am. Wow.
Like a fish, and that's why she lives in Malibu. I am so jealous. I'm in freezing Michigan right now.
Yeah, it is. It's really nice in Malibu right now.
Meredith and I hit it off. We are both in a mastermind group of fitness professionals that travel to beautiful places in the country. And Meredith and I hit it off really well, both very passionate about helping women and preventing the things that so many women still fall prey to with being misled by the media and the overwhelming not knowing who to turn to and what to do. And I know there's so much information. Sometimes I think if I didn't know what I have known for 25 years in the fitness industry, I would probably fall for a lot of the crap that's out there too. So I'm going to let Meredith introduce herself a little better than I did because she knows her better than I do. So tell us about yourself and your mission, Meredith.
Yes. Well, as you guys know, my name is Meredith Shirk, and I am from Malibu. I do have a degree in biology, 3-time All-American water polo player, and I have had a health and fitness business in Malibu for about 7.5 years called Svelte. And I really worked with a lot of women personally, one-on-one. And, you know, as a trainer, you not only work with people physically, you actually work with them mentally as well a lot.
Oh my God, how true. Yeah. We are definitely in their personal space.
Yeah.
We're in their personal space, which you learn a lot about people and what their needs and wants, and yeah.
Definitely. You hear a lot, you talk with a lot of people, and a really overwhelming thing is that women over 40, even over 35 lose their sex drive. And it even happens to women who are not that old, which it happened to me when I was 20 years old playing water polo in college. So, you know, when you can't sexually connect with yourself and with your partner, things start to fall apart really quickly. So, and no one talks about it. You know, 43% of women reported a low sex drive, and that's by the World Health Organization. And that's 43% of women that actually wanted to report that.
Actually,
yeah, I wanted to say that.
We're okay with saying that I've got an issue, either I'm too young to be having this or whatever the reason is. I mean, women are so complex.
Right.
We're complex to ourselves. So guys, we know that you think that we're complex, but so do we. So bear with us, and maybe if you have a guy listening to this, he might learn a little something too that might help the relationship. So, exactly. I mean, your passion definitely is in helping women with libido, energy levels. So tell us a little bit more about your background and how did it happen that you, at such a young age, knew about this?
Well, you know, playing water polo in college, I put a lot of stress on my body, and you have to really be eating the right foods to function at your best. I wasn't taking care of myself. And so basically premenopausal, I had no energy. I felt sick all the time. I was down. And I was 20 years old. I had no sexual connection. So it was a really big issue for me, and I wanted to fix that. But being a 20-year-old kid, I kind of just blew it off, you know?
Right.
But as I got deeper into, helping females who are a little bit older, as I started my personal training business, I knew it wasn't just me being a 20-year-old not eating well. It was women as they age, you're losing something. You're losing part of yourself.
And I think that's how you and I connected, because I am more than double your age. Ha! And my first thought was, what the hell do you know about libido and loss of
Right.
energy? And, you know, it's like, but then your story is very true. It doesn't mean you're 20 or 50 or 60 or whatever. I mean, there are so many internal things that women are just unaware. I mean, you know that you're having problems and issues, and you might think you're doing the right things, but back to that misinformation. I mean, you know what? So your product is Aphrodisiac Secrets. So tell me, you know, what is an aphrodisiac?
Yeah, a lot of people don't even know what an aphrodisiac is. So an aphrodisiac is a food or a substance that promotes sexual desire, or hunger or lust. So a really big misconception is that people think that you just eat this aphrodisiac and you're going to be ripping your clothes off like that next second. And it doesn't really work like that, you know.
Not like the Viagra for men. It's
Right,
a
right. You
mind
know,
body internal connection, right?
exactly. It's that mind body internal connection. And it's also about knowing what you're putting in your body. I have a really hard time with women now, and even with everybody overusing pharmaceutical drugs. I think it's really damaging. And I think that there's a lot of misinformation and there's a lot of mixed interests. You know, last year, the pharmaceutical companies netted $300 billion. $300 billion.
So you're probably like me though, don't you find, I mean, not only have I been in the personal training gym owner space for 25 years, have also done hair for 30 years. And it amazes me what control people think they don't have. I will have a woman in my, I only train women and have women in my personal space most of the time. And it's amazing to me how many women will say, well, my doctor said, if I take this and if I go on these hormones and if I take this medication and if I just get some more sleep, that, you know, I'm normal and that's just the way it is. I'm like, no.
Just
So
it's not, you know, it's not,
are
it's
there,
not
are there
normal.
like
You have so much control.
yeah. So what control? I mean, I mean, you see on the shelves in the vitamin shop, you know, the women's aisle has got the, you know, I don't know, hot pants or what. I mean,
Right.
they have all these little.
There's one called Spanish fly, actually, that you know, it's and it's actually toxic. It's actually just ground bugs. It's ground up bugs, and it's not that. And there's a lot of chemicals in it, and a lot of people think that like, oh, I'm going to take this. It's going to be amazing. You can buy it. You can buy it on Amazon. You know,
aren't a lot of those things basically a caffeine derivative too? That's supposed to, just because you have more energy and more, you know, that like arginine, more blood flow doesn't necessarily mean you have that healthy feeling just because you're pumping blood and sweating.
Right, exactly. And you know, it's interesting because parts of foods, you know, it's about what you're putting in your body. So when you're putting nutritious, you know, really dense foods in your body, then that means your body's going to, you know, function at its optimal level. And
Right.
Functioning at its optimal level means having great sex drive, having energy, all of these things. So, you know, I'm glad you brought up something like arginine. So even with, you know, you're eating arginine, you're eating something called L-citrulline, all of these things are parts of healthy foods, you know? Right. So when you're putting healthy foods in your body and you're actually you know, you're actually looking at what you're eating, you're not eating processed crap, you're going to feel a lot better. And you have way more control over your hormones, over the way you feel, over your energy, over your weight, all of these things. Then, you know, people just think that, oh, I'm going to take this pill, or I'm going to slap this patch on, or I'm going to get this injection. And it doesn't really, it's just going to.
So what are some of the, I mean, whether you want to just, not necessarily give me a list, but I mean, so in your online product, Aphrodisiac Secrets, is that something that talks about what foods you should eat? Do you have foods? I mean, tell me about that.
Definitely. It's a 21-day program, and it's designed to really break down what you think you should be eating and what your body actually needs and wants out of you. And then it also goes into just digging into each food and why it does what it does in your body, how it's going to help you, and why you need to get rid of things like diet soda, like fake sugar, like soy, you know, like all of these different things that you wouldn't necessarily, you're like, oh, it's fine. It's just my, you know, it's just my Diet Coke. but you don't realize that what is in there is actually killing.
Creates
it's not only
chemical shitstorm.
It's not only killing your sex drive, but it's doing a lot other worse things to your body.
Right. I mean, the studies now that talk about, we could probably do 25 interviews and conversations about diet and processed foods and all of the Frankenstein things stuck in something that's supposed to be called food,
Right, exactly.
So go on with your program. Tell me about the 21 days and.
Yep. So you have 21 days, breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks. And basically it's meant to reset your hormones. So you're eating nutritionally dense foods. It gives you a breakdown of each thing. And then at the end of those 21 days, you're going to feel amazing. You're going to feel reconnected to your body. You're going to be able to understand how to eat for the rest of your life. How to make your.
Meredith, I know a little bit about your product because I know you. So just to make people not want to click off when you say breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So give me an idea of like some tasty foods, because I don't want to diet and I don't want to have to follow a regimen of tasteless foods and things that make me feel like I'm on a diet. So I know the listeners feel the same way. So
right. One of my favorite recipes in there is actually a Colombian coffee crusted pork tenderloin. That's like one of my favorite. You've got a grilled shrimp and pineapple chutney, and that's like all of these things. I mean, I would not eat them,
Okay, you're making me hungry right
now. And then I also have some amazing smoothies in there. I have a cacao maca smoothie is a big hit in my program. So
tell a little bit about cacao. That's one of those things that I see it everywhere. I use it.
You can be fooled.
You tell me about it.
So people think that like, oh, it's chocolate. Chocolate's an aphrodisiac, right? Right. So you have to be really careful. It's not white chocolate. It's not milk chocolate. It's at least 70% cacao. Yeah, 70% cacao, dark chocolate, preferably cold pressed. I know you're getting kind of picky, but you got to think of your body like a machine and like a car. If you have a gas car,
my lines, girl.
Yeah, if you have a gas car and you put diesel in it, it's not going to run.
Or it's going
to break. If you don't put oil in your car, it's not going to run. You have to treat your body almost like it's a machine. It's like your temple. My bodies
are beautiful machines. We just abuse the hell out of them out of convenience and overwhelm with misinformation to sell a bunch of shit. I'm sorry.
And you only have one. Only have one body, and what you do now, what you might think is helping you now may be really hurting you in the long run. And that's what a lot of these prescription medications might alleviate some pain right now, right this very second.
Oh, sure.
But you don't understand that what you're doing to your body is your
look at any pharmaceutical ad. Yeah. Look at any pharmaceutical ad. They tell you what the medication is for in 5 seconds, but the next 90 seconds of their $1 million ad tells you of all the possible side effects, which to me usually sound way worse than the migraine headache or the erectile dysfunction or the,
Well, and
it's diarrhea, insomnia, it's just.
Yeah. If I have one tip for your listeners, whether it be pharmaceuticals, whether it be food, anything, if you turn the label around and you cannot pronounce the ingredients, you should not be eating it.
Yeah, we have a family friend who has little kids and they walk around saying, if I can't read it, I can't eat it. I'm like, ooh, that's good. I mean, it's adorable. It's a little strict, but at least it's a guideline. And I guarantee that those kids will start thinking that way.
Yeah, and they'll understand. I mean, you want to have real ingredients, and you can pretty much pronounce anything that's real.
Oh, yeah.
And if the list has got like 50 things on it, then it's probably not good either.
Oh, my God. Right. That's what I say. I mean, the best foods in the world don't have to have a label,
Yeah.
And then some things that, like when you're talking about the 70% dark, the cold pressed cacao. I mean, okay, that's easy to read. You're going to look for a certain thing and go to Whole Foods, Plum Market, I don't know, whatever you have and wherever you live.
That's like Trader Joe's, Vintage. Yeah, I mean, there's tons of them.
And I know you can buy different things because I just recently baked some brownies, which no one can believe. I baked a brownie. Yeah, but I used organic pressed coconut oil, and I used chia seeds, and I used dark organic cacao nibs, and oh my God, it was like eating fudge.
Yeah. It's so dark. It's so rich, and you
Oh,
don't need a lot. I mean, just like a tiny little square, and you're going to get that pop. And it's actually in dark chocolate. You have phenylethylamine, and I know I'm going to get a little crazy with you
that's
guys.
okay. Talk about those endorphins.
But yeah, so phenylethylamine, it actually releases, like Dawn said, endorphins, norepinephrine, dopamine, all the really good feel good chemicals in your brain. So not only are you getting energy, but you're actually feeling good. You know, when you feel good, you want to have a connection with somebody. You want to share it with somebody. When you don't feel good, you don't want to be around people.
So ladies, do you hear that? Your chocolate thing that you have a chocolate craving is a real thing, but imagine if you're having that really pure dark chocolate that really does something for your body and your mind, and those romantic feel good feelings, transcend into the next best thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's so cool. So how would somebody, I know that you write a lot like I do. So do you have a blog or a fitness, what do you have that people can find you and follow you? And then how do they get access to your product?
Yep. You guys can go to aphrodisiacsecret.com, and that link will be below because I know it's a hard spelling. So a lot of people use E and I and S. So it's aphrodisiacsecret.com. You can go there, and you can also go to spelttraining.com, and I put a lot of things on there, and you can access all that information, and I'm readily available to answer questions and talk about it. So I'm really passionate. I really want to, help women reconnect and also kind of break down the doors of this whole pharmaceutical age and get back to what's good, and food is medicine. So you got to put the right stuff in your body.
So this was Meredith Shirk, and aphrodisiacsecrets.com is a digital product, and we will put a link on the bottom. And is there anything you'd like to add, Meredith, that we haven't already heard?
I don't think so. I just want to thank you guys for having me, and hopefully I'll hear from a lot of you soon.
Well, even though I've spoken to you a couple times, I'm enlightened a little bit more, and now you got me thinking about that shrimp with the pineapple and those feel good foods.
It's a sexy dish. It really is.
Yeah. All right, Meredith, thank you. I'm going to close out now with saying thank you. This is Dawn Sylvester of FinalFatMeltdown.com. Thank you for listening, and please follow my YouTube channel, and where you'll be able to watch this interview and more. Have an awesome day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.